Hello, welcome to some high effort, high energy content. The one that I actually do want to make, it's my mainline Pokemon tier list. Because I have played every single one of them. And I have some strong opinions that maybe you're interested in hearing, maybe not, but I want to talk about, so I'm going to do it anyways. I'm only going to pick one of each for these because I haven't played every single variation. I've played just one of each set of the games. I'm going to start in release order because I want to. I've played Red, and honestly, I'm I'm glad it exists. I think it's a good C, but it's a C in the way that the future games have been better because Red is there's frustrating playing that game. Because there are just some moments where it's like I just don't get to do anything for 6 turns because I'm caught in a wrap or I'm not faster, so I got crit 8 million times. And it's things that like in future games are not as prevalent, so you're not gonna be annoyed as much. But playing them in the year 2023, they are a lot less enjoyable than they probably were as a young lad in the late 90s. The only one I haven't played actually is like the base Silver Crystal or Silver Gold, but I have played Crystal, which is actually it's a fun game. I enjoy it a lot. It's a good combination of the two, and it definitely builds on what made Red and those so good. But I still just kind of take issue with how Johto is with levels, where there's times where it's like I am just too leveled for this, or I'm just not, but I have 8 different paths, and it's not the worst. It's enjoyable, and I really like a lot of Pokemon, but there are still things where I'm like, this has gotten better, and I'm glad it has. Pokemon Yellow is better, in my opinion. I forgot to add that one. I just noticed it. This is the first time I ever played. The first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Yellow, and I could not figure out how to get all 3 starters. But now that I know how to do all of this stuff, it's so easy once you figure out the like strat. And then once you get all 3 starters, you kind of just have a well built team built. The only issue is the like rock fight where you just have to get that Nidoran in order to not be miserable the entire time. But I still think it's more enjoyable to me than Red, but also I think some of it is nostalgia. The game is still kind of frustrating though. Ruby, it's fine. It's I haven't played it in an eternity, but I do remember enjoying playing it. But then it gets Emerald, which is this is the first one that was like my Pokemon game. Like Yellow was shared amongst my family, but Emerald was like mine, and I just love it. It's my probably one of my favorites. Definitely top three. Some of it is just nostalgia, but Rayquaza is just sick. He's just the coolest, and I think like the Battle Frontier so much fun. The gameplay is great. I don't care about the too much water. It's fun, and I love them a lot, and I hold them very dearly in my heart. The Delta episode, which I guess I'll get to more in the remakes, is a good addition because Mega Rayquaza also a banger design. They did not miss with Rayquaza. Next for Gen 4, we have Pearl, because Pearl's the one I've played. I don't like this game. Mainly, it's not like the worst one. Like it is well made to an extent, but I went through the defog area, and that was genuinely some of the least fun I've ever had playing a Pokemon game, which is a hard thing to do. But defog being you, or not defog, the foggy area, making everything less accurate was miserable. There were so many fights. It's like, I win this fight, I know I do, but it took so much longer because I had to suffer through all the accuracy debuff for no reason. And I'm glad Platinum kind of fixes that, or at least addresses it, because man, it is miserable. Platinum also has the Battle Frontier stuff, which is great. We love to see it. Really, any game with that is much better. Giratina is also just cooler, if I'm being honest. I also haven't played Platinum in a while. I've only played it like maybe not a day. I don't know. A long time ago. The most recent one I probably played was um, action replayed it and just cheated through all of it, which was a time until I broke it, and then I was like, well, can't play on that save file because I glitched through walls, and the game didn't like that. Or we get to Gen 5 white because white was the one I have. Gen 5 is my favorite generation of Pokemon by far. It is just some great designs, and all the ones people hate, like Trubbish and Garbodor and Ice Cream, I kind of like them. They're little guys, and I like them. But I think the story and the characters of it are just so good and strong, especially for a Pokemon game, where it's like, oh, they're actually like cool characters here. And like every character across the board has a good design. And you've got peaks like N, Gets's. Like they did not miss with black and white. And they didn't miss even more with black and white too, which is just better in every way. It's just it's my favorite Pokemon game, probably my favorite game of all time. I need to replay it again because I want to. But it's such a good balance of having the Gen 5 Pokemon and then having a variety of older Pokemon, but like the good ones to use, not necessarily like, oh, Geodude's back, Rattata is back, like, oh man, I got all the boys back. Like, they're good choices for the additions they've made that I'm like, oh yeah, this is a banger lineup of Pokemon. And then that's even getting to like the Pokemon World Tournament, all the new Pokemon, the new fusion thing, which is sick, the new areas, the big tower. It's just so good. It's such a great step up where I'm like, man, they did not mess with this one. And it's also just so replayable because I played like 6 or 7 times. Every time I'm like, man, this is great. I've kind of streamlined it. Not really, but it's because I have like a lot of my favorite Pokemon. Like, oh, I get him a Reaper because I love Ampharos. He's great. And there's just so much there to build on and keep adding to where I'm like, no runs ever the same, but they're all so much fun. And now we switch to the 3D games. I played Y, which it's high C. I think X and Y were good for their time, and I think the introduction of Megas was really good, and the customization in that game is great. My only issue is they are piss easy. Like, it is not unfun how easy they are, but it just kind of takes out from it. It's very, very clearly kind of the beginning of the new era, but it's fun, but it's definitely not my favorite. I still play it occasionally. It's what I kind of want to play again soon. Just because I like to like refresh myself on it. Because I haven't played it in a while. Because I'm like, oh, what's X and Y? It was whatever. But maybe it'll hold up a little better if I play it again. The remakes I played Mega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, which I put like here. Actually, no. Yeah. They gave all it's Emerald, but better. Not really. That's true. That's not true. I'm lying. It's Ruby, but better. The extra editions are just so nice. Megas rule, and I love Megas a lot. The Primal's also really cool. It's a gen I really like. All the Megas are ones I really like. It just kind of didn't miss, but it doesn't hit the same heights as these ones where they have just like that extra little touch that makes them just the best thing ever. I also skipped Soul Silver, which is like here, I think. Low A probably. Which is mainly just it's better than the base ones, but it still kind of suffers from the level cap stuff, but it's more enjoyable because it looks better and they've added the few things that make it more enjoyable and less of a slog while also keeping the experience intact. And then as a Pokewalker, which is a fun little thing that I wish they would have kept support for. After X and Y, we had Sun and Moon. Where is Moon? I played Moon. Oop. Moon, I think, is a Moon is good. Sun and Moon are good. I enjoy them, and I think definitely the intro stuff is way too long. It's kind of just a slog, but the rest of the game is fine. But I do think that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are just better. I think for a lot of people, it is worse because it is just like the upgraded version in the most like literal sense, where there is extra plot lines, but it feels very, very similar to their ones. Whereas there's enough differences in the other second versions that it feels different enough. But I'm like midway through my replay of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and they're so much fun. Like all the extra stuff is great. I just kind of need to finish it before I solidify it going up to S or high A. But I think if you take out, if you play it by itself without being like, oh, this is just Moon, but again, as a standalone game, if you just get Ultra Moon, it's a great game. And I think the problem was they came out so close that most of the people were like, oh, I have Moon, I'll get Ultra Moon, and then got too much of the same and were not happy, which is fair. But now that I'm playing them, I'm enjoying them. Now there's a little bit of separation. Next in the timeline would be I like Let's Go Pikachu. It I don't really like it, honestly. It's really just the gameplay is kind of not my thing. But I respect that it exists and I'm fine that it exists. It's just not my thing. We have Sword and Shield, which to me, like here, I don't think Sword and Shield are necessarily bad games, but I beat them once and went, I don't need to do that again. I feel no desire to, like, I just forgot and moved on. It's of the new ones, I didn't even bother like getting the DLC. I was like, I don't care about these games, to be completely honest. But that's just kind of how it is. This list isn't updated to Scarlet and Violet, but Scarlet and Violet I would put probably high A. Like, I think I put it above Platinum just because of the like the separate plot lines all really help it a lot in terms of making me enjoy the act of playing the game. But there are sometimes when it's a buggy mess and you're like, okay, this is like actively deterring me. But there are sometimes I'm like, oh, this is funny. I don't really care as much. Which your mileage may vary depending on how annoying you find the bugs or how many of the bad ones you get. I didn't get that many, and a lot of them was just like, that's the funny one, and just moved on with my life. So those are my mainline Pokemon rankings. I'll probably replay all of these games eventually. I do it more frequently than I have with any other series because they're kind of just easy, comfortable, and fun. I don't think the S tier will ever drop below S, but I think this middle bit, anything below can change once I replay them. So I guess we'll see.